All right, everyone. Well, welcome back if you joined us this morning. But my name is Jenna Wood, and I'm a dietitian here representing, with the Giant Company. Sorry, I don't know what I'm saying. So with Giant and Martin's Food Stores. So today, this is our Feature Friday of February. Love a good tongue twister. So Feature Friday is a class where we talk about a product. We feature them and either talk kind of very specifically about their benefits or the ingredients they have. And so today I'm excited to share OLIPOP, which if you joined us this morning, Shane and I already indulged in an OLIPOP this morning. So I'm going to be careful with a second, and we will discuss why some people might want to not maybe drink 2 cans every day, depending on your GI health. But today we're going to discuss all of their flavors, their nutrition, and all of that great stuff. I'd love to hear in chat if you've tried OLIPOP before, what flavors you've tried, or as we get through some of their flavors, which one you might want to try first. Now, as you probably saw in our circular this morning, or if you look at the digital ads on your app or on our websites, this is our dietitian's pick of the month. So we'll be talking about them all month long. I know Charlotte has 2 classes, one about gut health. I think even her Valentine's Day class, she's using their strawberry vanilla, which I have here, just a perfect kind of Valentine's Day flavor to try. But you may see call outs on our website as well. Now, what is OLIPOP? I keep saying it, but like what actually is OLIPOP if you're unfamiliar? So it is a newer kind of soda which features flavors you're probably accustomed to, ones you know and love, but with a twist. So they are going to be higher fiber and less sugar than a traditional soda. OLIPOP, as they kind of refer to, it's a refreshing way to boost your inner ecosystem. So I think on my next slide, I kind of talk what they mean by that. But what I also really love, and I'll show you some of their researchers, but unlike maybe some other brands, like they really focus on proving that the ingredients they're using have a benefit because we can throw whatever we want in food products as long as they're safe. But we want to make sure that the foods and ingredients we're eating, for the most part, have some sort of health benefit, especially if you're going to be buying products that maybe are different or more expensive than you're accustomed to purchasing. So they have a lot of research between, the fibers and the botanicals and things that their foods contain, all about the gut microbiome and digestive health. OLIPOP, so it is still a newer company, was founded in 2017 by Ben and David that you see here out in California. Now, their mission. So most companies have a mission, but they kind of have a threefold mission statement here. And I don't know, I just liked this picture with the sodas and kind of you can tell they're going to be nice and crispy. But their first mission is to feed life. And what I liked on their website is they wrote, "We are large life forms that are formed of small life forms." So meaning, we obviously are ourselves, but we have tons of different bacteria and things that are thriving or maybe aren't so great for us. And we want to feed those good bacteria. And they say, if we respect and intelligently nourish the life within us, so our microbiome, it will repay us in kind. So we've touched a little bit about prebiotic fibers and how those benefit our gut, and we'll kind of talk about that throughout this month. Adapt and improve. So their mission is also to adapt and improve their product as it relates to new gut research. So we'll talk about a new product that they've launched, kind of listening to consumer feedback, but also just as research evolves, there's been a lot of changes with what can be called a prebiotic fiber and all of this throughout recent years. So they're adapting and improving as well. And I think that's a good sign of a company that they don't just stay stagnant, they adapt as needed. And then, of course, enjoy. So I think you get a lot of this from our team where, yes, we want to push health and wellness. We want to eat as best as possible, but we should also enjoy life. And that's, my recipe today. You'll definitely see it's a combination of enjoying things with health in mind. So here their quote, "Life is too short to not enjoy it and too long to spoil it." So, they want you to be able to have your sweet cravings without sacrificing your health as well. In terms of their research team, so as a dietitian, there aren't dietitians on a lot of research teams or in various companies. Giant here, we're very lucky to have such a great team of dietitians here with us, but not a lot of research companies and food companies have dietitians. So I was super excited reading their website and seeing their researchers, one of whom is a dietitian. So they've assembled this global team. So I believe the one guy is in Ireland, but this team where all of them were doing either their own research or are doing some research for the company specifically about the gut microbiome. Because, there's always controversy about industry funded research and things, but at the same time, they're the ones with the vested interest in whether or not that ingredient is going to confer a health benefit. So they really do help various, I think Purdue is where a lot of their research is currently being done. And they were looking for experts who had research in the fields of digestive health, prebiotics in particular, since that's a big component of their food, model gut systems, the gut microbiome, and how we can support it through nutrition. So that's why you see a dietitian here as well. So OLIPOP works with these experts also to help translate the research into consumer-facing products, and their website is fantastic. But also that research helps then, their product development and how they need to change and adapt, like we just mentioned. So very exciting. I think having the researchers, especially dietitians and professors, they're already teaching, the future. So helping, help consumers learn about their products as well. And I'll give you tons of links to individual ingredients if you want to learn more about them too. All right, let us talk about the specific products we carry here at the Giant Company. Lots of flavors. They do have a handful more, but we do carry the majority of the flavors they have here. For our promotion, they are on sale for $2. So you'll save about 50 cents per can. I do have links here for Giant and Martin's to see which flavors we carry at your store. I have three close stores, and every store had a different flavor. One of mine had all. So things like, again, flavors you're going to recognize, like the orange soda that Shayna mentioned this morning, grape, which I think is a quintessential like soda flavor. The lemon lime, I think, has become my new favorite. I used to think cream soda was, but I had the lemon lime last night, and that one I think is my new favorite. Dr. Goodwin, which I'm sure you can anticipate what that is. The cherry cola I had this morning, tropical punch. So again, a lot of flavors you're probably used to so that you can find an alternative that's going to be a lot lower in sugar than a traditional soda. Of course, prices, availability may vary store to store, but we do sell them in the majority of our stores. Where can you find them though? Of course, right? So you're going to find them in my Giant that I went to get all of the flavors that I wanted. They had them both in the produce section where we have other beverages like kombucha and juices, but then they were in a secondary location in natural and organic as well. So check both. Mine had both of the flavors that I was looking for in each section, but you want to check both, so you're not missing any flavors. I will also say we do carry a 4-pack, and I'm going to discuss this a little bit more. It's not on sale, so I would definitely buy the individual cans right now, but we do sell a 4-pack, and I'll touch on a different 4-pack that's coming soon too. Of course, again, this is our dietitian's pick. You saw it in the circular this morning, the 3 for $6. I believe you can just buy 1 can, but there's so many flavors. You're going to want to buy 3 to get a sampling of the flavors you might want to try. Again, Giant and Martin's, you can click on the links here to bring you directly to the page that'll list all the flavors that your store carries. Now, we want to look actually at the nutrition because we talk a big game about what is in the product and why they taste good, but we want to kind of hear more about the nutrition and what's in the products. So for tagline, so they are high fiber, which I will show you, less sugar, and the asterisk, every time you look at that, it just is then the leading soda version of this. So then a traditional root beer. They are all vegan. They are plant powered, which I'll talk about some of the botanicals and things that are in them. They are paleo, gluten-free, and GMO-free. Now, one thing that all of the research we mentioned is really being led for is this proprietary blend that they call OliSmart. So OliPop, I guess it's OliSmart then. So every can of OliPop is made with this proprietary blend of 7 unique botanicals, which I'll discuss what those are, the plant fibers and prebiotics that they have really picked based on the research showing these are the ones, these are the fibers, these are the prebiotics that actually have been proven to have a benefit. Because there are prebiotics or fibers out there that might not have as much of a benefit, or there are other botanicals and things that maybe in the quantity we're having them might not be as beneficial. So they really did pick ones based on research that is out there. Now, there are differences between the shelf-stable and the refrigerated versions, and I will show you those. And regardless of if they're shelf-stable or the refrigerated versions, each can has an excellent source of fiber per the FDA definition of excellent source. So I will show you all of that. In terms of how the products have fiber, there's going to be different ingredients, and I'll call this out on the different products, but the OLISmart combo, so it has 3 types of fiber in the traditional refrigerated cans. That's going to be the chicory root inulin, Jerusalem artichoke inulin, and cassava root. The shelf stable, because of how it has to be formulated to be shelf stable, because we know there are certain things we have to change to make something to be able to sit on a shelf versus being able to be refrigerated, it has 2 different types of fiber. It has the acacia fiber and the guar fiber. If you want to learn more about these particular ingredients, I'm going to show you a slide that you can read about each of them, because it's just outside of a scope of a 30-minute presentation to go into each of these, because they're each really fascinating to learn about, including the botanicals that you see here. There's marshmallow root, which historically is what we would make marshmallow from, the calendula flower, which is a Mediterranean flower, the kudzu root. So if you're familiar with like the invasive plant that you sometimes see growing along the sides of highways, especially in the South, this is that same plant, but the root portion has actually been used for centuries in medicinal uses. So that is an ingredient as well. And then the Nepal cactus, which is also prickly pear. So each of those you can link to. The flower, if you click on the marshmallow root, they're on the same page. So make sure you read more, because I find it fascinating, but these botanicals, beyond the fiber that they contain in the above ingredients, they just have other health benefits when we consume things that have these like phytochemicals and various ingredients, something you're not going to find in a traditional soda for sure. And then I do have a link at the bottom for more just about the blend itself. Now, as I mentioned, we could talk for hours about each of the individual ingredients. So I do have it linked here. They have a really great portion of their blog that goes into each of the ingredients, because transparency is super important. So you can go in and look like, why do they use guar fiber? What is that cactus? What are the health benefits of that? Each of these ingredients has an individual page that you can then go in and read all you want to about each of those. So I linked the ingredient spotlight blog here, and I'm not going to touch on stevia in detail here either, because again, that could be a whole presentation. So they have a really great page about stevia, why they picked stevia, why some people's taste buds might not like it in ways like they tried to get around the bitter taste some people sometimes experience by using whole juice, which is why you will see some grams of sugar in their products. But ultimately why they ended up picking the plant-based stevia compared to other sweeteners. So definitely check these out if you like learning more about ingredients and why things are in products. Definitely this would be the first place I would go. All right, let's look at, I can't talk about all the flavors because there are so many. We're going to touch on some that I pulled out. The first one being my new personal favorite is the lemon lime. Definitely what you'd expect from that type of soda. Delicious. One thing that I called out when I was reading some of the reviews, again, was that it is flavored with that key lime juice. I think that makes all the difference. It is so, so delicious. So in terms of ingredients, most of them are going to be very similar, all starting with carbonated water. As Shana and I mentioned this morning, I don't find the carbonation to be excessive. I think somebody in the chat mentioned like it's between like a kombucha and a seltzer water. Like it's not too carbonated. Of course, if you want to let it go flat, which I personally prefer flat soda, that's certainly an option too. But so we have the carbonated water and then the OLISmart, which has the 3 types of fiber I mentioned, and then the 4 botanicals. So each soda of the refrigerated versions are going to be the same for that top part. And then you're going to notice the differences. So it typically is a variety of juices, like this one has a quince juice, which I've never seen in a soda. Lemon juice, of course. Many of them have apple juice concentrate. Mostly, apple juice has a nice sweetness to it. Cassava root syrup, which will be predominantly what you see is that added sugar on the can. And then, of course, this has the key lime juice, some stevia leaf extract, a little bit of pink salt, and then some more key lime flavor. I think it is a perfect amount of key lime flavor. I believe all of the Olipops earn either 1 or 2 guiding stars. So you see that here. In terms of nutrition, there's going to be some variations for calories and sugar and how much juice is in them. They range between, I believe, 35 and like 55 calories per can. They all contain typically some amount of juice. I think, yeah, about some juice. This one has 15% juice. As you can see, there are different types of juices in here. 50 calories for the can, very low sodium at 25 milligrams. I believe other sodas typically have a little more, some have less, but soda isn't typically super high sodium food to begin with, but only 25 milligrams here. 16 grams of total carbs, which in theory would be 1 carb count, but 9 of those grams are fiber. So we typically, everyone's bodies, everyone's microbiomes do something a little different, but we typically do not utilize all of that carbohydrate that's coming from fiber. And this is that prebiotic fiber we mentioned. So a soluble fiber that's really beneficial for feeding our gut microbiome to produce beneficial nutrients that we need, especially, again, we could talk for hours about things that the gut microbiome produces, like butyrate, which is a short chain fatty acid. So lots of reasons to include prebiotic fibers in your diet. 4 grams of added sugar, which compared to a traditional lemon lime soda is a savings of roughly 30 to 40 grams. So I like that it has some natural sweetness in not just relying on things like stevia to sweeten it. So 4 grams, I can totally fit 4 grams of added sugar into my day, as opposed to 44 or something in a traditional soda. So this is probably going to be a mainstay in my diet because I really like this one. Then the one that used to be my favorite, but is still high on my list, is the cream soda. So this one, I think only has 1% juice, so it is much lower, because if we go to the nutrition label, you can see like you're not going to find a lot of juice because you don't want it to taste like lemon or lime or apple or any of those things. So it does also have allulose syrup, which might also be a reason I like this one. Allulose is going to be another natural sugar alternative that is found in fruits to begin with. So that's probably where the 2 grams of sugar are coming from, that and the cassava root syrup as well. Just a touch of lemon juice, dark vanilla flavor there, some stevia, the pink salt again, and then some natural vanilla flavor. 40 calories for this one, 17 grams of carbohydrates. Again, that 9 grams of fiber coming from the Ollie Smart there. I really like, if you like a cream soda, you'll love this one. Then we have the orange squeeze that Shayna mentioned. She said it's very sweet. I've not tried this one yet. 13 grams or 13% juice here. 5 grams of added sugar, again, still considerably lower than in orange soda that you will traditionally find. And it does have 160% of your vitamin C. So also a great reason to add that in. This one does have different juices like the lemon juice, apple juice, mandarin juice concentrate. That sounds real good. Clementine juice is probably one of my favorites. So that's great. And then as you see kind of going down, it does have rosehip as well. I always say this wrong, acerola cherry, which also has botanical properties too, stevia. They all have a little bit of that salt, and then orange as well. This one's slightly higher in sodium at 35, but again, still very, very low sodium. I think this is the last flavor of the refrigerated cans I'm going to talk about, because I love a good Dr. fill in the blank soda. So for me to have a good OLIPOP alternative is so exciting. They have a really great page about the Dr. Goodwin, which talks about like the plum and other flavors that they picked for this. So 5% juice, 9 grams of fiber, of course, still, and then that 3 grams of added sugar here. Now this one, like the cola, like the cherry cola. I think those are the two main ones. It does have caffeine. So that is a difference. You do want to check if you're somebody who's very sensitive to caffeine or does not do caffeine. You want to watch out for the flavors that traditionally in soda would have caffeine as well. Differences here, again, you see the allulose syrup, prune juice, which if you watch my class about prunes, you know I love a good prune juice, plum juice concentrate, tart cherry juice as well, which we've talked about having benefits, a natural spice flavor, because, you know, if you know the other Dr. sodas, that is kind of something that's very characteristic of that flavor. A little lemon juice, double fold vanilla. That's interesting. And then the green tea is where they're getting their caffeine from. So again, 50 milligrams, not a crazy amount, definitely less than coffee, similar to something like a green tea, if you were to drink a green tea. And then two guiding stars for this one as well. Now we'll switch gears and talk a little bit about a newer line that they have, which is OLIPOP's new Pantry Ready line. This will be coming to the Giant Company in the spring, so definitely watch out for this. I'm not exactly sure where it'll be, if it'll be in our natural organic section with some of those other like seltzers and sodas, or if it will be in the traditional soda aisle, but it is shelf stable. And one thing I really like, as we kind of called out, they listen to their customers, they go with research, and people were really, you know, looking for a shelf stable option because, you know, real estate in your refrigerator may be a primary. So you might not have as much space in your refrigerator and you still want to maybe stock up. And what I also like to point out here is it has a little bit less fiber, which was something that customers also pointed out to them. 9 grams of fiber for a lot of us may be a lot to just add to your diet if you're not eating enough fiber to begin with, which most Americans are not. So going from, you know, a very low fiber diet, which is a standard American diet, to adding a 9-gram of fiber soda, it may cause some GI rumbles. So 6 grams of fiber is definitely, you know, a little bit more palatable for some people. And for the hardcore OLIPOP fans, you can more easily fit in 2 of these at 12 grams than you can 18 grams of the refrigerated line. So just something to kind of consider as well. So the differences for the Pantry Ready line, again, this one, so this is the root beer that I'm going to be using. I'm using the refrigerated version, so slightly different, but 35 calories here, 3 grams of added sugar, which again, compared to a traditional root beer flavor, normally 44 grams of added sugar. So just a savings exponentially there. And just that 6 grams of, just the 6 grams of that prebiotic fiber. The OliSmart is a little bit different, as I kind of alluded to. Instead of having the inulins like the chicory root and the Jerusalem artichoke, they do still have the cassava root fiber, but then they're using the acacia and the guar fiber. So different fibers here. Some people really, especially people with certain types of IBS, they just, no matter what way they try, they may have issue with certain types of inulin. It's maybe you'll have, you know, better luck with these 2 types of prebiotic fibers instead. So that might be something to try if you've experienced a lot of GI distress that, you know, working through, like we want to still make sure we're drinking plenty of water, moving our body as much as possible, and slowly incorporating fiber into our diets. But this might be something to try since they are a different type of fiber. In terms of other ingredients in their root beer flavors, we have that cassava root syrup, the apple juice, a natural root beer flavor, the burdock root, and then some sweet birch flavor, and of course vanilla, and a little bit of that salt. So I'm very excited for the shelf-stable versions to come out. And once they do, I'll try to remind you guys that they're out there because I want to try. I like trying the differences between the 2. And then I have a little pop-up here just showing the differences in terms of the nutrition. Now, this, if you're in our Giant and Martin stores right now, you're only going to find the refrigerated products. If it's refrigerated in our store, it should be refrigerated at your home. Once we do carry the shelf-stable version, you definitely want to check the packaging to see how it should be stored. So it may look similar, like when you see the 4-pack, but on mine, so it'll say, you know, the camera's a little weird, but store refrigerated right at the top. It says store refrigerated on the side of the can that I pulled out of the box. So definitely check, because they have been formulated differently to be shelf stable or in the refrigerator. So when you purchase them, just be sure you store it the same way that you purchased it. Now, what are other people saying about Olipop? Because, like our dietitian team, we're honest. We talk about all these food products that we like and that we use. But what are, non-dietitians saying about Olipop? So I pulled some of these from our website and the Olipop website. This person says they really enjoy the cherry cola. It reminds them of a cherry slushie. I pulled this one for myself. It says, if you have a blue raspberry cola, I would definitely, they would try it. I know blue raspberry is definitely not a natural flavor, but any type of raspberry flavor, I would totally be into. It tastes, I thought this was funny. It tastes like a fountain Coke that has gone a little flat and the ice has started to melt in the best way possible. I don't know if that means something to you, but when I read that, I totally understood what they meant. I'm all about that. And it also reminds them of the cola gummies that they used to have as a child. I love cola gummies. So again, I thought that was a really great description. This is right on point. If you like redacted, you will love Dr. Goodwin. The same crisp, spicy, fruity, creamy taste with the undeniable bite and no aftertaste. Very satisfying. The flavor is good and complements anything I have it with. I like to make it extra creamy by adding some yogurt for a great pre and probiotic combo. So I think that was talking about the cream soda flavor. I thought that was interesting. They literally talked about adding Greek yogurt and they loved it. So I thought that was fun because, again, we want to have these prebiotic fibers to feed the probiotics, the gut microbiome. So definitely you want both. So a kind of fun way to do that. And then I don't know which flavor this was for, but this is the lemon lime. This is my most favorite flavor. I am so happy that they are keeping up with the normal lineup. I love the tang from the key lime juice, and it's an easy and delicious way to get some fiber. I totally agree. So that's what made me want to try the lemon lime. So certainly people are loving Olipop, and for great reasons. Of course, most companies nowadays have social media pages. I highly encourage you to follow Olipop on any social media you may have because they're pretty darn funny. I included some of them here. If you click on the thing, it'll bring you to the page. But they had a lot of things about Puxatawny Phil this weekend, and things about the holidays, whether it's Halloween, anything. They have seasonal content and just funny things depending on what page you're on. So definitely check them out on the various platforms. If you are an Ibotta or Fetch person, they do have, at least on mine, I know every app has different things depending on the people. They do have some rewards, so you can try that to save even more money. Tons of recipes and just ideas and great blogs on their website. So make sure you check out their website just for, to learn more about their products, but also just ways to use them, including some of these that I've included here. I just like to enjoy them as a beverage on their own, typically as an alternative to a very sweetened beverage. In mocktails, they have an overnight oats recipe here, I think using the strawberry vanilla. Of course, popsicles would be a great way to utilize them. They have a whole blog about using them as marinades, glazes, and in braising liquids. That was a fun blog to read. Ice cream floats, which is what I'm going to do today, because again, we're all about balance. Dirty sodas. So this has been something that's been kind of popular on social media recently from I think, Utah. So it's the concept of adding like sweeteners and cream to sodas. So I just saw the other day on Instagram, a dietitian, he used one of the protein drinks and mixed that with, I think, the root beer flavor. So it's not going to be an ice cream root beer float, but it has a very similar flavor to it. And then you're getting protein and the fiber and the botanicals. And then in baked goods, so they also have an orange creamsicle cupcake recipe on their website, but I'm sure you've probably seen tons or made recipes yourself where you pour a can of soda over a cake mix or something. You can utilize Olipop in here. You're adding 9 grams of fiber and just a fun way to kind of reduce the sugar, but still tasting pretty much the same. So this is the Olipop float. I'm sure you don't need a float recipe, but I just kind of typed something up here. So your favorite flavor. Honestly, I can't really think of a flavor they have that would not taste good in float form. So I really could do any of them, but I'm going to do just a traditional root beer. 2 to 3 scoops of your favorite ice cream or frozen Greek yogurt. So on their website, they do talk about just taking Greek yogurt and freezing it and utilizing that. So again, you're getting those pre and probiotics together. And then again, some people are utilizing protein shakes and different things to kind of get a different balance of nutrients that they need. So I already scooped my ice cream, and I will get to questions, I promise, because I know this is a fun topic. So I've kept it here on ice next to me. I have just a little bit of ice cream in my cup. I'm just doing our Giant brand. It's like the lighter ice cream, so it's a little bit less fat and not very much sugar either. Still less than a traditional ice cream. So it was a little less than a half a cup. So then I'm going to add our classic root beer, of course, right on top. Let's see, hold it up here. You always got to pour super slow so it does not get everywhere. Oh, I'm very excited. I do love it. Oh, it smells real good. Let's see. Might have to stir it a little. Looks like a regular ice cream float. It's got all the foam right on top. Let's see. All right. We'll do that for now. I'll pour more on as the foam goes down. Oh, that's delicious. Oh my gosh. And again, you're saving yourself roughly 40 grams of sugar. And still, like, I don't think anyone would notice the difference. That is so good. Well, thank you for joining me and learning all you can about OLIPOP. I will get into the comments for questions, but please join us for all of our classes this month where we're talking about OLIPOP. I know, again, Charlotte has 2 more coming up where she's making a Valentine's Day treat and talking all about GI health. But I appreciate you joining me as always.